What's that doing there? Well, I've already installed some parts in it, and I didn't really brief anybody on the parts I was gonna get. I kind of just was like, yeah, maybe I'll get this, maybe I'll get that. But here we are now. I've already done the install. I put the Glockmeister. I probably could have got it cheaper from somewhere else. I gotta be honest with you guys. I know where to get HK stuff and SIG stuff and all this other stuff. I don't know about Glocks. Okay, I ordered stuff from Glockmeister before. People yelled at me and whatever. But I put the Glock 17 trigger in there, and those PM warriors and the few guys in the comments that suggested this won me over because it was cheap. I'm telling you right now, if it was $1 more than what I paid for it, wouldn't have happened. So everything's in there now, nice and smooth, super easy install. This gun is so easy to work on. Like, if you've ever worked on any other gun, then this is a walk in the park. I can take this thing down completely without any directions and put it back together completely correctly. Like, it's super easy. I can do that with a USP 45 now after I've done the trigger job. But with this thing, it's so easy an idiot could do it, I'm telling you. So I only use 2 punches, this tiny one for the back pin there, and this one for the other 2. The second pin for me was the worst. This one, I had to wiggle the slide release on it before I could get it out, but it wasn't terrible. And I pushed all 3 of these pins back in with my hands. I actually got to flush this one up, but gun's stupid easy to work on. Alright, so the trigger now, it's got a Glock 17 trigger, which is awesome. Feels way better. And I honestly, I get what it does with the 3.5 pound connector, but I don't really think it did too much for the pull weight or anything like that. Yeah, it did. It did. It's about, I'm going to say it's a pound lighter. It's probably where it should be now. This thing was pulling at about 6 pounds. At least it felt on the finger gauge. But now it feels about right, and not the lightest trigger I've ever touched, but it's better now. I also put the Gen 3 in there. I didn't put the Gen 4 because I wanted to get rid of this stupid bump. The bump's gone, and I don't notice any additional wobble. I really don't think that bump does anything except wear the inside of the slide. It's really stupid in my opinion. But anyways, I give this the easiest mark on any scale to work on. If you can't figure out how to work on a Glock, then you shouldn't be doing any gunsmithing or any sort of armorer work whatsoever. Also, before I start the install video, I gotta be honest with you. Anyone that brags about being a Glock armorer, oof. I'm not gonna have too many good words there for you. I'm probably gonna talk a lot of shit because this thing is super easy. Like, I could probably, I know for a fact I could take this thing all the way down, but I bet you I could even disassemble the trigger and a few other little odds and ends and know exactly how to put it back together without any issue. So if you want to get into working on a gun, the Glock is the easiest to start, which is why everybody does it and everybody has one. Get it, got it good, and I appreciate that because sometimes it's nice to be able to just do some quick work and have, you know, something to show for it. Here it is, the install videos to follow. Super easy. Thanks for watching. Take care of each other, stay safe, and support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. Join the NRA. Hey everybody. Looks like I'm busy, huh? So I ordered the Glock 17 trigger with the Gen 3 bar. Oh no. Oh no. We'll see how that shakes out. Everybody told me to get this or grind that button off anyway. So I'm going to do something that I've never ever possibly done before, and that's trust people on the internet I've never met to recommend what to do with things that contain explosions and send projectiles places. The other thing I got was a 3.5 pound connector. I get it. I said I wouldn't do that, but people wouldn't leave it alone. These are the only trigger mods I'm doing though. So if you're expecting that I'm gonna put some springs in it or anything like that, ain't gonna happen. So listen, there's a bunch of videos on this already. I've already knocked the pins out. I'm gonna take the locking block out there. So, oh, also you're gonna hear my washing machine in the background because I don't have a flexible schedule. This is a very easy gun to work on. It's not remarkably difficult at all. If you've worked on any hammer fired gun period, or really any other gun, this is super easy. I think it might even be easier to work on this than a shotgun. Alright, so getting the trigger unit out. There you go, America. So the way they have this spring in here, this is going to be pretty hard to see. Let me see if I can, come here, light. Alright. So we have this spring in here, which is something nobody ever covers in their videos. Is it's fed down into that channel like that, right? Oh, I gotta be super careful with my movements here. That's how it's gotta be when you put the gun back together. So, keep that in mind. Okay. Luckily, the trigger bar is already coming out. Alright. So first thing you want to do is disconnect the spring, which has a very, very small hook, right? So you want to get this out of there, like so. Oh, if I do this through the viewfinder, someone owes me lunch. Ha! America. That's zoomed in, by the way. You're welcome. I know I didn't get it in frame. And then getting this out is going to be fucking fun. Because I don't really have nails. Oh, look at that. Go along with all this wonderful Glock perfection here. One of my favorite things is you get a 3.5 pound connector, right? They call it the 3.5 connector. And it takes 1 pound out of the pull. So my trigger is absolutely not even 5.5 pounds, right? But this is, don't call it the 3.5 pound connector. Call it the 1 pound reduction is what it should be called. Anyhow, off the soapbox. Back to operating. Alright, so come on, bud. There's that little slot which this leg is going to feed into. So there's that. You just feed it straight and kaboom. Look at that. So there we go. It's all installed, super easy. And now it's time to put the new trigger in there. The one with the no dimple and the flat trigger face. Now I gotta say, this is not as flat as I remember it being. It's actually kind of curved still, but it's not as bad as this one. So you'll see the slight differences if you're someone like me and doesn't have like 46 Glocks on their shelf. Honestly, I really don't care. I just want it to be better. So here we are. Alright, now gotta feed this back in there like so. Oh, almost had it. Come on, bud. You know you want to do it. Thank you, please. Alright, so there's that. And now I have to up and over. Come on, bud. Up and over like that. Drop it in. Boom. Look at that. So dropping it back in. Super easy. Make sure it's all lined up. Push it down. Oh, we got a click. That's always good. Right? Oh, look at that. Back to business. A little fun fact when you're... This is not gunsmithing. This is not... Let me tell you right now, this is not gunsmithing. when you're being a high-speed, super Glock operator here, Glock armorer, that's one of the funniest. I love dudes that are like, I'm a Glock armorer and blah, blah, blah. Okay, dude. They know how to put Legos together. You know, congratulations. So, there's that pin. Give it a few love taps here. Get it back in all the way. I can do that with my hand. That is so embarrassing. Putting these things back together is super easy, and you don't really, once you do it once, you're an expert forever. I hate to break it to all the Glock armorers. Look at that. I put that back in with my fucking hand. If they only knew. Alright. This one's gonna be a pain. I thought it was gonna be the other one. Nope. That one was easy too. Look at that. Oh my god. See what happens when you work on other stuff. You start learning, and then you begin to appreciate both the complexities of the other guns and the simplicities of the simpler ones. I gotta hand it to him, man, though. That was easy. That's a quick trigger job. You can do it yourself. And let's see what it did. You know what? That's way better. Just that, those two little things made this gun awesome. I don't know how I feel about the connector. I'm not even really 100% sure what it does. I know what it does on paper. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is $30 in parts. You can do this on your own. You don't need some high-speed parts from people to do this stuff yourself. If you're gonna spend a lot of money on these guns, I would put it into the sights and extra mags and a holster. That's really all I'd put it into. I mean, I don't know if they make stainless steel guide rod setups for the Gen 4s. I haven't done any research, but that would be the only other thing I'd recommend. They're super easy to work on and super, super duper simple. It's probably the most basic firearm you could find. It's like the pumpkin spice basic bitch of firearms. I gotta be honest with you. You can take this if you're a gunsmith or know anything about polishing, and you can just polish this and it will give you the same effect as that 3.5 pound connector. But is $15 worth hours of your time to get it right? You know? So that's why I went with the 3.5 ghost connector thing, because everybody wouldn't leave me alone about it in PMs and stuff. So that's why I got it. Now this had to go for me. But when I get a 17, if I get a Gen 4 17, I'm just gonna grind this thing off, because I don't get why they did it, because it wears anyway. You can see this flat spot getting worn in on it anyway. So it's causing friction in the system, and it's just not conducive to a smooth trigger pull. So these two here, you can do it yourself, you know. But I needed to get rid of this feeling thing here. I don't like that texture. I don't like how crudely it's stepped. It's just not a nice trigger to shoot all day. You feel like funny thing is with this trigger, you feel like you're only pulling on that center bar there in the middle. That's what you feel like the trigger is. So it's kind of like pulling against the not sharp side of a pair of scissors. I don't know how to explain it. If you shoot a lot, you'll feel it. If you don't, then you probably don't know what I'm talking about. Think I'm crazy. But those parts are gone. New trigger, 3.5 connector to make those people happy. I gotta say, if it was $1 over 15 bucks, I would not have bought it. It was not worth it. So 30 bucks gets you a little bit better. Now I'm gonna take it to the range and see how I like it. I've got plenty of rounds, so I'm gonna do that. I'm actually probably gonna try to put the sights on before I go to the range, but we'll see. I don't know. They're on their way. I have the nut driver for the front. I just don't know if I want to use a punch or a sight pusher. I know someone commented in one of my other videos that sight pushers are for Democrats, so I'm kind of against using it, but I do like my work to look really clean. So I can use a punch, I just don't want to screw it up. Anyways, yeah, America.